Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Switch Hustle with Mags Boland Murphy and Boffin Consultancy. I would like to welcome Aoife Fitzgerald, the CEO of the Fitzgerald Menswear Group here in the sunny southeast. And the Switch Hustle is all about having real conversations with real people in real professional settings who are dealing with real life in business. And we'll chew the fat on the fun stuff, the not so fun stuff, and the bits in between. So Aoife is a little powerhouse. It's fair to say she's a woman that, a lady that I met about 12 months ago now, Aoife, probably a little bit longer. Yeah, and I just clicked with you immediately, it's fair to say. She runs an amazing business, fourth generation fashion business, and is one of the few independent fashion retailers in Ireland, which is fantastic to see. So we're going to start this off. Aoife, I would like to welcome you. And it's great
for having me. Delighted to have this coffee chat on a Tuesday afternoon.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. And I just wanted to, I suppose, start off with, I have to acknowledge that retail has gone through a massive refresh in the last 12 months. And a lot of it has pulled us into positive progress, it's fair to say as well.
Yes.
The pandemic has been a massive challenge. So tell us, first of all, a little bit about yourself and the business.
Well, thanks a million for having me, first of all, Mags, and yourself and Boffin Consultancy, and all you've supported me with in the last year and a quarter of meeting. You've been fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and truly appreciated all the way along.
Not at all. That's my job.
I'm Aoife Fitzgerald. I am CEO of the Fitzgerald Menswear Group, and we're basically a menswear business across the southeast of Ireland, and we are here to service our community and all their needs and wants. And we pride ourselves in doing that to the biggest levels of perfection that we possibly can. Our customers are our future, have been our past, and they grow with us from the cradle to the grave, to be honest. Yeah. And they're very important parts of our lives. We know most of them in all the towns that we exist in, and we appreciate their business.
So tell us a little bit about the different locations, because one thing that I wasn't aware of, Aoife, I suppose, when I first started working with you guys, was the number of locations and the spread of your business.
Yeah, so we have 8 stores across the southeast. We are Waterford, we have 4 stores. Wexford, we have 2. Clonmel is 1, and Dungarvan is the other. So in total, it's 8 stores, and they all service different wants and needs for generally the men's section. Kids, boys wear, it's all predominantly based on boys. We introduced women's wear last year into one of our locations in Evolution. And that was a lovely little add-on, quite a different market, and one that we're still finding our feet in. But in general, our business was established in the initial back in 1956 by my grandfather, Doc Fitzgerald, and it was in a little shop in John Street in Waterford, which was a real hustle bustle, different time. You went to the butcher's and you got your meat. You went to the grocery store, which was there. There was the menswear shop in the middle, and men dressed differently. They were decked out in their 3-piece suits, and so it was a whole different time. My grandfather was probably liked an old dibble and liked an old bit on the races, so the business was probably less productive then. So my father got his hands on it at about 19 years of age and developed it further. He worked with his father, and his father passed quite suddenly. And after that, it developed into Clonmel and Wexford with the Fitzgerald's menswear end of the business about probably 45 years ago at this stage. They opened one in Clonmel first and then on to Wexford. So it was building and building, and then my father moved the business more central in Waterford. The city centre of Waterford had changed slightly, and he bought a fabulous premises on Barronstrand Street, and really worked hard on that. And within another couple of years, I think I was about 12 at the time, so I won't say how long ago it was. I'll give away my age. But anyway, he opened that up, and I remember that because we used to work through, like, everybody got stuck in. You work through the night, you work 3 nights in a row right through. I remember being devastated because I was sent home at 2 a.m. to go to bed. I don't know who brought me, but somebody took me away.
How very dare they?
Complete the task, of getting a shop turned around and open for the next day. This is so exciting instead of going to school.
And what comes through, and I have to say this because I've gotten to know you quite well, like what comes through even when you're speaking is that work ethic and that wanting, that passion to drive something forward and succeed and get the job done. Is it fair to say that is there still today? It's obvious that it is to me, but from your perspective.
Yeah, like my days start early. I try and start earlier so that I can at least show up at home because I have a family, and at least if I start really early, I can do it that way. So my husband can man the morning and I can man the evening,
And that's a job.
Yeah, in fairness, I really enjoy, and I really enjoy the business. And you can't have a business to this extent without that kind of work ethic. It takes it demands it. There's no way of escaping it. That's just the way it is. But at least it's ingrained. We were reared. We might have had several businesses, but by God, as a child, you earned it. I cleaned cars, I cleaned stores, I did everything. I used to face a room full of hangers and get told to sort it out. It used to go from the ground to the ceiling.
I think sometimes I think the professionals I know, whether they own a business or whether in management roles, it doesn't matter, or when they're employees, that piece, that work ethic and how much of it you have in you really sets you apart. I know we have very similar backgrounds in that respect, Aoife, that, I worked hard from a very young age. And I think we were always taught that nothing is handed to you, that, you have to know how to deal with people and you have to know how to just swing up the arm and get on with it when you need to.
Absolutely.
Not in a crazy unrealistic way, but that it does help you.
And it doesn't. Like the only thing was, if you needed anything, you worked for it. And that was great.
Yeah, with that comes an appreciation for things as well.
Yeah.
You appreciate everything. Tell us a fun fact about you that no one else knows.
That no one else knows.
Or that very few might know.
Okay, here's one. I could fly a plane before I could drive a car.
Oh, look at you. I'll tell you, I could drive a tractor before I could drive a car. That's kind of cool. Flying is fantastic. That feeling. That's pretty unique. Tell us, how have you found? Obviously, the pandemic has had a massive effect on a lot of businesses, and especially on two sectors. A lot of sectors, but the two that stick out to me are tourism and hospitality and retailers, because you're front facing. And, you're there on the high street. And I know that has shifted a lot for a lot of businesses. And you're no exception to that. How has that affected you as a company?
Oh, it's had obviously a dramatic impact. It's impacted with everybody. You don't survive a business being shut down for 9 months of the year, without absolutely hitting the ground and trying to do the best you can and wiggle and move, to be honest with you. So there's several different impacts. I think in the initial was stock management, because we were closed, we didn't know when it was opening. And the same for the second and the third lockdown. In our industry, or in our particular group, we would buy 6 to 8 months in advance. So when the lockdowns happen, your purchases are already in place. So it's trying to manage everything, and the flow of stock was, and putting the brakes on, or trying to put the brakes on. And because you've committed to this, you don't just get to cancel it. So you still have to absorb that stock, take it in. But then what we probably didn't expect so much was such a mass demand in every reopening. There was just this great move towards the high street again, where everybody just wanted product in their hands, and the luxury of it. Like online, I think in the first lockdown, the online thing was, oh, I can't believe we're not here. I can't believe we haven't done this already. How could we have been so naive? And I think that developed into, we're not going to be in this position again. So whatever happens, there is one thing we're going to do. If there is another lockdown, because that's still where it was, we thought this was it. But just in case, our whole thing has to be an online store, an online setup, social media channels working for all stores. We're going to be in a different place if this ever happens again. Yeah. So that was one. I think safety of the customers and our teams in the initial lockdown was a big worry. That was a really something that I got really deep into, and made sure all measures were in place, because you couldn't reopen without everything being really safeguarded and everybody being able to shop in comfort, knowing that you've done everything you can to keep them safe in your environment. So yeah, that was another, but in fairness, that was set up then, that continues now. So that's just the new norm that we've all adapted to. So that wasn't so prevalent for the second and third, because all the measures were in place, the steaming of the product. Like, one thing we really noticed is the amount of customers that even still can't believe that they can try on clothes with us. That's been such a bonus to them and to us. It makes their life so much easier. Now, it takes an awful lot of extra work on our behalf, but customer satisfaction and to create an easy environment for customers is what we do, and that's why we do it.
Actually, on that, Aoife, like, I have found now, if I'm in a clothing store, that I ask now before I try, just to see, just to check, can I actually try something on? And it is that peace of mind piece, I think, that, you know, it's safe to do so. We are dealing with a different type of customer now too, because not only have businesses been affected, but they've been affected too. They've been, you know, shut away. Restrictions beyond what anyone could have imagined were put on them. And now to come back out into the high street and actually be able to do a simple thing like shop again is huge. It also, I wanted to ask you something about this, because it's come up in discussion a lot with different business owners, through my own business with clients, but also in general with other business owners that I know, you know, about, do we go 100% online? Do we park the offline piece? My own opinion, I suppose, is that we need a hybrid model. Well, in my business, that'll always be the case. How do you feel about that in the retail space, you know, with such a big surge going online?
Yeah, absolutely. So to be honest with you, yes, there's a massive surge to online, but when you see the demand when we open up every single time, and it goes on, it doesn't just stop. It's not just a 2-week stint. It means people want to see, feel, touch. Others don't. Others are happy not to. I think they can absolutely coexist. And I think it's very important that both offerings are there for the longevity of a business and its survival in the retail industry. I definitely, having gone online, I would feel, oh, thank God we're there. Thank God we're in that space, because, to make things easier, simple. Aside from lockdowns, let's say. So in lockdowns, it serviced all our stores through social media, the online platform. It wasn't just online though. The social channels allowed people to contact the stores directly.
Yeah.
There was as much that way as there was through the online. So it's so important to have both channels. And social media was such a big part of that as well, just as big a part. It's nearly like the thirds, a third, a third, and a third. Yeah. And they're still effective and they're still working in every way, both online, social media, and stores. And that's what we've really, really noticed, that it's the combination of all three that facilitates the business now. And they're both as important as each other.
I would 100% agree with you. I think that with retail, particularly in this country, particularly in Ireland, I think it is great that we have progressed online. I think it was badly needed. That we were positively persuaded, as I always say, to move online. It was a big ask, let's be honest. You've gone through it. A lot of other businesses have gone through it as well. But I do think as well that it's important that we don't lose sight of the people piece in that we're still very much present to a certain degree offline as well, that we're still open to communicating with people. We need that. We're that type of a culture, and it's very much in our DNA. Customer service is very much in our DNA, I think, as well, that we treat people correctly. As much, this is something that I've noticed that a lot of companies have gotten wrong. A lot of companies like yours have gotten very right, that they're still providing that customer service experience, whether you're buying online or you're buying offline. With that in mind, Aoife, what advice would you give? What makes the difference between, I suppose, an excellent customer service experience online and providing the product through an online platform to the physical customer offline? What are the things that you've noticed that make a difference?
That's been a challenge, to be honest with you, because it's very, very difficult to translate what you do in person with somebody, all the different parts of what we do as a company. Like a guy comes in on his guy's shop last minute. So they come in on a Saturday afternoon for a pair of jeans for Saturday night. Yeah. So we'll alter that on the spot. The leg is like half an inch too long, an inch too long. We're like, right, we'll get it bang on. Have you time for a quick coffee? We'll have it done by the time you've finished your coffee. You can't translate that to online, and simple things like if a guy walks in for a pair of jeans, you'll see what fit he's wearing. You'll know what fit he'll want, okay? But I'll go to 3 or 4 different brands and put that fit into his hands, okay? And kind of go, right, try all of them. They'll all fit you, but one will be more comfortable than any of them. That's the kind of thing you can't translate online to in person. And a lot of the time, I think online tends to be guys who know what type of jeans they wear, know what fit, and go back for different colors in them. Absolutely, and that's absolutely fine. But I think they're actually missing out on the experience of, right, throwing on 3 pairs, but I'm going to get a great pair of jeans that'll actually fit me. All the jeans are going to fit in one way or another. Just one will be that little bit better. And that's where the difference is. It's also like suiting. You can't sell suits online. We taper them. We fix them. We do so much work with them. We taper the trouser leg. We adjust the width. We taper shirts. We adjust sleeve length. We go to all ends. And that's the kind of thing that we do in-house that we can't translate to online as easily, unfortunately. But we are trying, And that's probably the most extreme examples.
Yeah, but it's very much, you're painting a picture there. And it's like my business, right? We have certain things that we deliver online and people can book stuff online, and that's absolutely fine. But at the end of the day, one of the things I suppose that I'm very, very conscious of in my business is how we treat the customer, how we treat the client. And I have a passion for customer service as well. And it's trying to translate that online is hugely difficult. Because
it's next to impossible. I think a lot of it comes, then a lot of our online business comes from people who trust us because we've already built the rapport. And that's what really helps.
And what do you feel, like I can think of 2 things that set your online apart, I suppose. One of them is the range of brands you stock, and the other is the seamless fashion in which the delivery arrives. And that's and I think people forget that as well, that it's very much done in a timely fashion and it's presented in the right way. To me, that would be part of customer service offline. Would you agree with me in that sense?
Absolutely, yes. And it's very planned, and it's, we're buying this 6 to 8 months in advance, so you have the chance to plan in advance. And to be honest with you, it's also a work in motion. So all we can do is improve, My whole thing has been, I need the critical advice, guys. I need the critical eyes on the site. What will only benefit me is what you tell me is wrong, as opposed to what looks nice. I need the wrong in it so that we can get fixing. So yeah, that's a constant. And I think that's the biggest, probably best thing that we can keep doing, is trying our best to make it better, find the flaws and correct them, make it right.
Yeah, make it right. And there's always, I always say there's always room for improvement. There's always more in the tank.
It's simple things like if a delivery is being shipped in 2 parts, it's actually picking up the phone and speaking to the customer to say, look, it'll be there, but it'll be there in 2 parts. It may be different days. Is that okay with you? How does it suit? Would you rather we change that? It's all those simple little things, but it's even picking up the phone and doing that. You're building trust, you're building belief in you. They're going to come back and shop with you again because we were vigilant about our delivery process, or simple things like that.
And something, Aoife, that I know, I suppose, because I've been working with you for quite a while, but I know you do it, and another client of ours who has a big staff as well did it through the COVID, was you had consistent communication with your staff, and to the point where you were just completely dedicated to hugely to their well-being. And what have you done in the business to support that going forward as well?
So, staff has been a real challenge for us. In fairness, a really strong team, but it's been very tough on them. The on-off, the people who are committed outside to life, to financial commitments, to all that kind of thing. It's really a struggle. So it's affected their mental health. There's been so many different issues with them. We put loads of measures in place to look after them in relation to mental health, financial, anything that we could help them with. There was regular contact. It was follow-ups. Now we're back. All our staff are back. Some have moved within this, which has been a really big challenge, because a lot of them are long-term, very valued staff members, and they actually went to completely different industries and decided a whole change of lifestyle after feeling what it was like in the first lockdown. They've just a whole life plan change, has happened, and that's left us in a bit of a tight spot over maybe the last year. And yes, we've filled those positions to an extent, and we've filled them with some lovely people who have long-term experience that we were very, very grateful to come across along the way. So that's all helped.
That's great to see. It's great to see companies, Irish companies, being so proactive with their staff, because it wasn't easy. Because a lot of the time, I suppose, people don't see what goes on in the background from a business owner's perspective, and from a CEO's perspective, that you are trying to keep the business on the road. You're trying to support everybody in whatever way you can. And I think support going forward is what keeps a business going, I feel anyway, myself. And mental health has become something now that has been identified and has become very, very obvious as something that needs to be dealt with consistently now in business, regardless of your sector, that, the well-being of people. And there has been a lot of movement, because people, I suppose, have looked and sometimes the grass looks greener on the other side. That's number one. Sometimes it's not always greener either. But also, I suppose people are trying to evaluate their work-life balance, something which I learned a lot about a couple of years ago when I was living overseas, and I saw how they were doing things in another country. Like work-life balance, does it exist for you, Aoife? And how do you achieve it? And what do what would you
work-life balance? I exercise quite a bit. Swimming will be sea swimming will be a big outlet for me. Winter, summer, the whole way through, coming through the winter with the ice riveted.
You are a braver lady than me. Can I just say that now?
And I found it great. It's that shock that just takes away all this COVID stuff that's going on in the background and resets the body for the day, and the head more so, more so the mindset, to be honest with you. I found that a really good out. And on the coldest of days, I'd meet one or two friends and we'd go for a swim. And I actually don't know, was it the social interaction or the swim that I benefited from more? But it was fab.
Yeah, and I think I honestly, I was down last night. I was walking my legs off around the pitch and down in my local GA pitch, and I stopped to talk to a lady I know locally, and I was saying, I'm clearing the head, and she said, "Oh yeah, we all need something," and it's so important. I think no matter what you do in life, no matter what you work at, no matter what your job is, whether you own a business or not, whether you're management or an employee on the floor, it doesn't matter. We all need something to keep us flexible. And mentally, I think more so, and physically, but I feel mentally more so through times of challenge like this.
Absolutely. I think through times of challenge, out walking, running, you just get that air and you get to differentiate between work and home. And it's like that little bit in the middle that gives you the breakthrough.
It's kind of your time as opposed to work time or the children's time.
Everybody benefits,
What did you say?
Everybody benefits from that little breather in the middle,
Definitely. And just before we finish up, do you have any other gem or little nuggets that you'd like to share with listeners and anyone out there in business, anyone considering a business, and anyone in retail?
If I could say anything, I would strongly recommend that anybody maybe who isn't online to make the move, push on and do it. It's going to sustain your business into the future, and it's going to be a cohort of the two together that's only going to progress the business. Is it a challenge? Yes. Like it was an unbelievable challenge for me because I'm not savvy in that way. I don't shop online. I'm very aware of local business, local trade, and I try and support that as much as possible. And I used to take my money from local people. So I found it was always really, really important that I kept my money on a local level when I was shopping. So in moving to online, that was a challenge for me, definitely, because it's trying to bend my head to social media and all the things, and maybe not even knowing. Or was I very green? Yes, I was. But the thing is, just do it. Take that leap and do it, because you'll be so surprised. It's not just you. It's all your teams. There are people on your team who are so capable. They're young, they're savvy. It's natural to them. It's the way they've grown up. They want to be part of it. So if you could do anything for yourselves and to secure your future, is take that mighty leap. It's really, really worth it long term. It'll be your survival, and you'll be very grateful that you did.
And I think as well what it does, and I 100% agree with you, it future-proofs your business to a certain degree.
It also services your customers in a different way that you haven't done before. Even if it's only a customer going, "Oh my God, I'm not going to make it in. I need to get a voucher. Oh, Christmas week post." Sometimes they won't pick up the phone, but they'll just as easily go and order it online, and maybe it'll mean that I'll be in your pocket instead of your competitors because you are there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
start small and grow into it if that's what it takes. But do it.
survival of the fittest as well. And I just thought of something there, Aoife. Like on a national level, do you feel there is anything that you would love to see happen in terms of supporting retailers on the ground, on the street, online and offline? Because there's the online street now as much as there's the offline street. Do you feel there's anything that could be done to support retailers nationally going forward as we enter a new kind of age of digital online shopping, but we have to maintain the offline piece as well?
Oh, I would suggest a change in VAT rate would be amazing for Irish shopping online. Probably would be the one big thing that could guarantee Irish purchasing within Ireland. I think that would be a really, really worthwhile move. I think the amount of what we were exporting pre-Brexit in online purchasing, we could have shored that up ourselves and kept it at home with making changes like that. And I think that's the kind of thing that will, like some of our markets, the Evolution brand, that market itself is young, savvy kids who are all over the online thing. They're looking for best price. They are really cute with their money and they know exactly what and how they want to spend it. But they will invest their time quite easily on finding best price or whatever the case may be. They're not thinking Irish, they're thinking best price because they're young and they're youthful and that's what you do, And I think that would be a great way of securing that our spend online stays within our economy.
Yeah, that's something I feel strongly about, Aoife, if I'm going to be honest with you, that we work a lot with Brexit and we have done well before Brexit was ever a reality. But now that it's here, we have to safeguard our own economy, and as much as we can, absolutely, it's good to investigate what else is out there. But if we can protect our own economy and keep that money in the wheels of the Irish marketplace,
absolutely. Because so much the spend in Irish marketplace, €1 spend delivers €5 to the local economy. What are we thinking? We need to do something. We need to stop it flushing out and moving out. We need to keep it at home.
Well, I don't think you're going to stop it flushing out.
Not.
And I just wanted to say that the website for anyone, and I would really genuinely encourage anybody who's listening to this to go online and check out efits.ie. And I'm not just saying it because Aoife is sitting here. I'll always be honest. They have some fantastic brands, and there's something there for the women now as much as there is for the men.
There is. We've a lovely
bringing a new age of fashion to online stores. And I think it's really great to see it, Aoife, and keep doing what you're doing. You have a great team, and that stuff comes from the top down. So thanks for your time.
And thank you very much, Mags and Boffin Consultancy. I so appreciate it. You're as good.
And it's a pleasure when business owners like you are focused and committed to getting stuff done. That's what it's all about. Right, I'll say goodbye again, guys, and we'll let you all know when the next guest is on. Aoife, thanks again for your time. Very much appreciated. And have a great day. Bye-bye.
Take care.